Oh man, we get first things first. I would say about this chapter, Zorro. I'm just gonna say is the reason why he be on Luffy's head whenever a situation arises and when danger is lurking around the corner. Now, here we are at One Piece chapter 1144, titled Older Women. And let's get already into it because we got a lot of stuff to cover. And the cover we are, and everybody after events that's transpiring in the castle. Now they're done basically ransacking the quest castle, or I guess Alice Castle, as they're saying. Everybody's back on the ship and heading back to the tavern or the party where Usopp and the rest of the Straw Hats are. And you got Nami complaining that there's no treasure in there, apparently. Aside from the key that they found that's basically unlocking all of Loki's chains that's been sea prism stone was called what it really is, because that's what's chained him down, not using all his powers, right? Weakening him basically. So back to Ripley. She said tells Frankie a little bit about the Adams tree. So the treasure tree tour group. So Frankie asks, so ain't it surprising, but there's a hell of a lot to take in here. It's incredible. And Ripley says, to summarize, we basically live on the tree's enormous branches, basically. Which it shows a diagram, which is the homes in the Atom tree, basically, which is the whole entire tree. And she also explains each one has a long and rich history of its own. And she even points out that the branch that's hollow and has a hole in it, dark circle in it, that branch here was where Harujin Village used to be. And she explains, well, the light apparently how that ended up happening is where lightning struck the branch, and in order to stop the fire from reaching the other villages, they had to cut it off. They did, and it left a big gaping hole, basically. Now, on to the next one. I'm not explaining everything else. I'm going to speed run this shit. So, lock in, basically. So, Western Village Feast cuts back to, I said at the beginning, for basically where we left off. Everybody, Luffy, Zorro, Nami, and Rodo have wandered off, and now back to the party. And Usopp is still having a good time, basically, and has been wondering where they went. And Nami told Usopp best, and was like, oh, we were just exploring. Luffy and Zoro wander off, so naturally I had to go with them, basically, what Nami says. And furthermore, they're just having a good time. Brook, apparently his head is not on his shoulders. Somehow, some way, it winded off, I guess. Where is his head? His head is basically not on his shoulders. Now it's not attached on his head, basically. Or how? It's basically somewhere like where his legs are. Somehow some way it fell off. So, and Sanji ends up saying, hey, anybody see something's a little bit off? Anybody know where Jur-chan went? So it cuts back to some other outside of the party, somewhere Jur and Rodo have a serious conversation. And Rodo is explaining what happened to the two guards that was guarding the castle. And he says, well, Jur says, well, they have bone fractures. Looks like one of them been stabbed. But she's wondering, could a human really do this? Yes, and I can say that because you got two intruders. Well, naturally, ain't just two intruders. You have 4 intruders now. So Jur is just explaining to Rodo. So what the hell is going on? Naturally, she's asking Rodo that. And Rodo's is pretty much trying to keep it a secret, trying to bounce between subjects, basically, or try to explain it in a way, but not really. He's basically just trying to keep a secret. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, and Jorah's not having it. She says, "Oh well, then I'm just gonna have to tell on Elder telling you then, and just say you're basically keeping secrets for me. That's basically a half security risk, and we got to know who did this." And Rodo knows who did this, actually. Now, Rodo's thinking in his mind is like, well, if this Loki business gets out before Luffy and the others return, I'll be labeled as a co-conspirator. Hopefully, Loki just takes off once he's free. He can raise hell overseas for all I care. Not a good thing that he said that, because if you look back at several chapters back, Loki has a deep grudge, especially when it comes to Shanks and Shamrock. Those are his two main hits once he's released. So once he's released, I'm betting $2 in a candle that he's probably gonna go beeline towards Shamrock. Oh, another thing. They probably need Loki's help to beat Shamrock. I know that sounds strange, but come on now. Shamrock, we don't know how strong Shamrock is when he's serious. Come on, I think that's common sense. Now, Dur beats the hell out of Rodo just for holding out on information on what he knows. Now, here's something interesting. Back at the Realm of Dead, Zorro and Luffy, with the key, goes where Loki is. Now, Zorro seeing this, and Luffy seeing this was like, what the hell happened here? Oh, I don't know why I didn't notice this, but if you notice that, I don't know if that's, you know what, I wait till the end. But Zorro's looking at this as, wow, don't give him the key yet. We just need to see it, what he is. Zorro is the most cautious person on this crew. He knows when shit can go south. He knows what Luffy needs to keep shit on the table, right? So Zorro immediately put the two and two together. He says, so he's a devil fruit user, and the thing that binds him down is those chains must be Sea Prism Stone. Zorro ain't stupid. When he sees something that's basically devil fruit user, he'll put. I'm telling you, Zorro's not stupid. He may get lost all the time, but he ain't stupid. Common sense would tell you that throughout his battles. Now, Zorro says, well, he's big for a giant. And Luffy screams out Loki, said, Loki, say something. And he said, Luffy's also said he's still breathing. Good. Now, Luffy and Zorro have a back and forth, right? With Luffy holding the key and Zorro telling him, say, he's basically, it goes like this. So Luffy's arguing to Zorro, said, he's about to die. We don't owe him anything, but we got to help him. Zorro's argument towards Luffy is like, we shouldn't be helping him, Luffy. The one thing that we can't not do is releasing him, knowing the fact that the stories we heard from other giants led him captured and chained up for that reason. And he even brought up the point, he's even big as Oars, too. And he's a devil fruit user, that's even worse. So Zorro is arguing back and forth with Luffy, and Zorro goes up to Loki, climbs up to Loki, and clocks him in the chest or in the face to see if it's to wake him up basically. And Luffy's like, "Oh, Zorro, what the heck, man?" And that kind of brought Loki back, not unconscious, but conscious again, to waking up basically. And he yells, and Zorro's like, seems like those bloody wounds are definitely the real deal, so he's not faking. So this was just basically a post check for Zorro, just in case he's faking. And Loki's like, damn you, what the hell? And he says, he's dead. And Zorro says, well, if he's dead, that's just simply his fate. And Luffy calls Zorro, well, you can't be a real jerk. Now, Zorro's holding the key. I guess Luffy gave Zorro the key. They're basically discussing what to do over there. And Zorro basically... So, towards the end of this chapter, someone yells at Zorro and Luffy. And it says, please don't do it. And you have basically Harujin's crew, trying to stop Luffy and Zoro from unlocking Loki's chains, basically, with the key. And they both Harujin got the battle axe, and basically everybody is ready to go, just in case. And everybody said, one of them said, this is an emergency. If Loki escapes, all hell will break loose. So Harujin says, sorry guys, I made the wrong call. And they said, I don't blame you. You were thinking about the safety of Elbaf. And Rhoda's like, what life, right? And they all land on the ground, almost crash. And Luffy uses gun balloon to save them from the crash. And they all got bumps too on top of that. So I guess towards the ending, I don't know who unlocked it or how they unlocked it, but I didn't even see who unlocked it first. But unless it was Zorro or Luffy, and Harujin says, since we were kids, even when he did or said something nice, it was all a lie. He's a fiend who betrays others without a second thought. Loki's a threat to the entire world. I'm afraid you already. Zorro's like, well, I'm afraid you're already too late, by the way. Harujin's like, and one of his crew said, Loki! Sworn he was out. And Luffy's like, what? I could have sworn he was out cold. And Harujin said, stop it! By the way, if you didn't notice, behind Loki his weapon was right behind him while he was chained up. Loki is standing up, broke out, chains unleashed, and he stands back up, menacingly, mind you. And I don't know who says it. One of the giants says, I think it was Harujin, says, Loki, put Ragnar down. The accursed prince rises. So, we got Loki arising once again. So, the weapon that was behind Loki that he was in prison, or why he was in prison, was Ragnar, which that was his weapon. That's his prime, and the way they making it sound, that the weapon Ragnar is basically a weapon of mass destruction that only Loki can wield. But the funny thing about that problem is, since I wonder how this exchange would go. Luffy versus Loki. How would that go? Even though we don't know, I seen some memes too about this online too. On top of that, when the chapter first released, now that I'm doing a review on it, Loki is probably going to be the person that uses lightning, and Luffy might say, "Oh, lightning doesn't work." Well, we don't know what type of lightning. This could be This might be not a situation with Inaru with the lightning and shit, but it could be another story with Loki, because this could not be ordinary lightning or electricity. This could be something with a little more to it, right? Or like Inaru's Rumble, right? I'm trying to think what else. Well, Jerd kind of got, I'm thinking right when Jerd beat Rodo to a pulp or near inch of death, she finally got the information out of Rodo and reported immediately once she found out what Luffy was trying to do with the key, right? Or what they were doing, what Luffy was doing. Jerd probably immediately made a beeline back to our captain and said, hey, something's about to go down. We need to hurry. This and that. Blah. And they made the beeline to the ship. And I'm afraid it was too late, right? So I don't know who used the key. And I'm pretty sure it was either Luffy or Zorro. The last person that had the key was Zorro. So Zorro probably already did that. Already unlocked the keys. And there you go. Aside from How Loki would react, don't know. But if you like this chapter, this video, subscribe, like, and share. And comment down below if you think Loki might have some kind of power that's not like lightning, but something that can be more destructive power, like one that can level islands back to back, right? Since they keep saying that Loki is a danger to the entire world, and that he's aiding a devil fruit, basically that's been passed down, that's more destructive than any devil fruit that's out there, basically. And thanks again, and see you next adventure. Laters.